All right, let's have a bit of an update on the fuel tank sealant. I think I've finished one wing. I've washed the other wing, but I haven't put the sealant in yet. I wanted to actually get the method and everything sorted out on the other wing first. I didn't want both wings to be in a bad situation. I did it, and I tell you what, I think this sealant is pretty good. Let's have a look what I've come up with so far. Now, I think I told you this at the end of the last video, but this there's two size kits available basically. There's a 1 litre kit, and there's a half litre kit. So basically a pint and a quart. This is an Australian made product. Not that that means anything, it's just that it's not the one that you buy off Aircraft Spruce. I put 500 mils, or about a quart, into the tank, deliberately chased it around each of the seams where a rib contacts the skin or the spar, and then did it and chased it around twice. Chased it around one time, turned the wing upside down, chased it around there, then turned it back up the right way and did it all over again. Then I opened up the normal drain feed to the engine, to the aeroplane, and this is basically what I drained out. About 300 mils. So there's only 200 mils of this stuff stayed in there, and look at this, it's as tight as a drum. This has gone off like crazy. It's really quite firm. It's probably, if you dig down deep enough, it's probably wet underneath, because this isn't an epoxy. It's actually, it dries out due to the evaporation of the solvent, which is, I don't know, I think I read xylene or toluene or something like that. One of the solvents that you'd use in spray painting of cars and things. But anyway, it looks like it's done. One little sort of tiny error. They say in the instructions to take the bungs out and put corks or something similar like that to seal the holes. Nah, don't be ridiculous, I didn't do that. Well, now I know why. Because the bungs get, the threads where the bungs screw into get sealant in them, and then you've got to chase those threads out, which can be tedious. And that's what I've been doing with my trusty scriber. And I made a thread chaser out of one of the bungs. I'll show you that right now. This is a bung. I cut a couple of slots, one on each side, with my die grinder, and then screw that in a little bit, back it off, screw it in a little bit, take it out, clean the threads out. And it was a bit tedious, but I've now got it to the point where I screwed the other bung into the fuel tank outlet. This wing's upside down right now, and yes, I did manage to spill some or get some over my paintwork. Bad luck, because there's no way in this wide world that's going to come off there. So I can imagine, I was concerned that it was like a plastic type material, and that it would come off inside the tank. There is no way in this wide world. It's probably stronger than the fuel tank. It's serious. It's a serious, I guess, a glue. Now, I'll take you down and show you my pressure test method. I'll just lower you down. Okay, you've seen this before. This is my level indicator. It's meant to connect up to another one of those down at this point, but what I've done is I've put a blinking bung in that point. It didn't have glue in it, by the way, or goo. I've turned this up so that I can blow into it by mouth. Don't be pressure testing your fuel tank with the air line off the compressor. If you want to do that, you're going to have to be extremely careful, and I mean like extremely. Let's see if you can see under the wing, I put my fuel, the little standpipe that most of you have sticking out of your fuel caps, where you put the fuel in the aeroplane. I located mine outboard of that a little bit, and at the moment I've got that blue balloon under there tied onto it, just put on there with a rubber band around it, so it's fairly well sealed. And now I'm going to inflate that balloon by blowing in that blue tube. And if I can seal the blue tube off, then there's our pressure test. We come back tomorrow and the balloon should still be inflated. That's the plan. Let's see how we go. Now, once I inflate the balloon with this tube, I'm then going to try and screw this bung in, take the tube out and screw this bung in instead, hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I've got to do it before the balloon goes flat. So let's see how we go. There you are, I'll line you up there. Unless you want to see me going blue in the face, I'll probably do both things at once actually. There you go, how's that? That might work. Righto, here we go. Now, the balloon inflated? Oh yes. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to screw that out, honestly. I don't think I'm going to be able to take it out and put the bung in, not without losing all that I just put in there. But the balloon should remain inflated. I've had a piece of lock wire. I'd tie this tube off. I don't think it's passing. I don't think it's leaking. And actually, I'll get the lock wire and we'll do this over again. All right. You can tie that off. I'll take you off the tripod and we'll have a look. That's all I've done, is just bent it over and tied it off. This is my little bottle of soapy water. Where are we? Right here. We can have a bit of a spray around and see if anything's leaking. No bubbles. No bubbles there. Around this one. No bubbles there. And at the base of the balloon, there may be bubbles here because it's hard to seal the balloon off. Oh, maybe not. Okay. And the time is spot on 3 o'clock. Okay. Let's go and do something else and come back in an hour or so and see see if we've made any progress or not. But if the balloon goes flat, the balloon's probably still got to find its own happy spot and equalise the pressure between what's in the tank here and what's in the balloon. once it's done that, so it may increase or decrease in size. While the pressure's equalising. And actually it might even still be getting bigger. There might be more pressure in the tank, because that's a pretty small orifice it's got to go through. It's just a little 1/8 fitting, which is tiny, really tiny. So yeah, it might still be trying to equalise. But I'll show you again at 4 o'clock, hopefully, if I remember to come out. Yeah, well, as promised, here we are back again, and it's pretty much 4 o'clock, and the balloon's still inflated, so things are looking pretty good. It might be a bit smaller than it was before, I don't know, but we'll find out. I didn't spray any soapy water on the hatch that I've cut, or on the actual filler neck, which is over there. I've since sprayed some on that. I'll put a little bit on the hatch, make sure that's not leaking. Let's see how we go. I don't see bubbles. No, I see a lack of bubbles. So we've got to think that's pretty good. Now that the balloon may very well deflate a little bit as the evening cools off, and then hopefully as the day warms up tomorrow it should pick back up again. If in a perfect world that's what would happen. Yeah, we're not doing perfection today. Let's see how we go. Well, there's the balloon, still inflated, and it's been 2.5 hours. So it looks like there aren't any leaks, or certainly no big ones. I'm not going to put you through this every hour. We're going to come back tomorrow morning and see what the balloon looks like. Well, here we are. The good news is the balloon's still inflated after 21 hours. And doesn't look like it's changed size very much at all, really. It's a bit cooler now than it was yesterday afternoon, so if anything the balloon would have shrunk just from the heat of the day. But that's it, we'll call that done. I can leave it there for another 3 weeks, but it's not going to get any better. So we'll play musical wings and start over again on the other one. Here we are back again. This is actually the second wing. The other one you've already seen. The balloon stayed inflated on the other wing for 21 hours, something like that, 20 something hours. This one has been just on 3 hours, and the balloon, you check the circumference with a dressmaker's tape measure, and it hasn't changed a bit, so there's no leakage there. I've checked the fittings, everything's fine. So the second wing, for all intents and purposes, is not leaking either, so it's good. The first one's starting to go back together again. A couple of little points that I did pick up from it. Where are we? We're over... No, I'll get back to you. Something I did notice, there's a couple of things I guess that I picked up. I've actually got quite a liking for this sloshing compound. It worked quite well, and it's not exactly what I expected it to be. It's way better than what I expected. So I'm pretty impressed with it. A couple of things I picked up. For instance, the instructions on the can say to take the fittings out of the tank and install block the holes with like a cork or something like that. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just screw the fitting in. Big mistake. This is what I used on the second tank. See that was a stellig tight. If this was a fitting, you'd have to dig all that grey stuff out of there, so that you could screw whatever it is that fits in that. That's what I did on the first tank, and I had to scrape it out with my scriber, which I did. I managed to. It stays stuck. If you had to take that grey bit out, it would be exceptionally difficult. So this time, the fitting actually screwed into the piece I was trying to save, and I let it drain through and form that stalagtite. Then I screwed this fitting out, and the thread was beautiful and clean. I could then screw the fitting that's meant to be in the tank in, no problem at all. I didn't have to spend a couple of hours trying to clean the threads out. Yeah, so that was pretty good. The stuff spreads really, really easily, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It weighs a lot. It's quite, that can was, that 1 litre can was a couple of kilos. It was quite heavy, but the majority of the stuff gets drained out of the tank. It doesn't get to stay in the tank. So all in all, I'm a convert. I actually like it. I like it a lot, and I can see me recommending it in the future. But anyway, so the job now will be to put these. I'll leave the balloon for. It can have its 24 hours or whatever. I'll check it tomorrow, and if it's still inflated, we'll call it good that the both tanks are good. Rosie's aeroplane is up for inspection today. It's changing its the category that it's registered in. In Australia, we have when this aeroplane was built, we had a choice. We could either be in the experimental category, which this one wasn't, or we could be in it's an amateur-built category, and Rosie elected to put it into that amateur-built category. Now, fast forward, 25 years, and it turns out that the experimental category is a much better proposition than the one she chose. So we're trying to get it switched to the experimental category. Experimental means that you can, under the right, so if you built it, you can then get the authority to maintain it as well. You don't have to pay a professional to maintain the aeroplane. And just recently, as in the last few months, if you buy an experimental aeroplane, there's a pathway now that you can get the maintenance authority. Even though you didn't build it, you can get the maintenance authority to maintain it. And hopefully, if Rosie does decide to sell this aeroplane, whoever buys it will qualify for they'll be able to do the appropriate training and get the authority to maintain this aeroplane themselves. So that's what we're up to, and we're just changing categories. But yeah, it takes a bit of it's a little bit long-winded to do, but today's the day it's meant to happen. So that's it. That's the update. This will go back together very shortly and start going forward again. The engine's ready to run again. The oil hasn't fallen out. This is there's a little bit of oil in the drip tray, but nothing like what was there before. And it hasn't run out of oil, so it's It was purely, I think, that the oil was in the wrong places because the engine had been laying on its back, it had been in a transport box and, all the rest of it, and it didn't appreciate it very much. But now that it's been run and the oil's actually gone to the places where it's meant to be, it's stopped leaking out. We've got that little bit of leakage in the drip tray that you may or may not be able to see, and there's a little bit in this drain tube running into an oil bottle. There it is, running down there into the bottle now. But that's all. That oil bottle is still empty. But anyway, that's where we are, and it's only Tuesday. We've still got the rest of the week to go. Well, here we are the next day. It's a couple of minutes short of 24 hours, so I think we'll call this done. The balloon's still the same size as it was yesterday, and yeah, so this is successful. Also, I've started putting the other wing back together again with its correct fittings and so on. So yeah, it's a bit of a miserable looking day. Well, not really miserable. It's just overcast. We might get a little bit of rain, which is welcomed at this time of year. So that's all good. Well, here it is, Friday morning, and time for another quick catch up as to where we are right at the moment. With the Renegade, the wings are back in place. I have to redo the rigging. There's still one more bolt to be tensioned. This one here, which is, of course, the most difficult one on the face of the planet, but that doesn't matter. I've still got to connect the fuel lines over there, one over the other side. They'll be easy enough to do. And that's it. Then I can put some panels back on, I suppose, and we might go right into the fuel cal after that. As you can see, I've rearranged the aeroplanes a little bit. It's a bit easier to get this Renegade out and also Rosie's Renegade. By the way, Rosie's, what do they call it? A special certificate of airworthiness has been issued. So the only thing standing between me and true happiness is a maintenance release, which the local LAMI's going to issue hopefully later on today, and then this will be ready to fly. The special certificate of airworthiness is good for a year, which is what happened sort of last time, where it expired. In that year, you're supposed to, establish all your parameters and your best rate of climb and all the rest of it, best glide speed, all that sort of thing. Basically, test fly it at all up gross and work out your fuel consumption, all the things that you really need to do. And in the case of this aeroplane, that's 20 hours. Normally it's 25, but the aeroplane's already got 5 hours on it. So the CASA man was good enough to give me a discount. No change with Robin's aeroplane, although there is a change because it's now got wheel spats, which it didn't have earlier when you saw it. I think it looks fairly nice. Some people don't think it looks very nice, but I think it looks lovely. And of course the Oster hasn't moved in, I don't know. Well, I've been back in Australia for 6 years, basically, and it hasn't moved in that time. Tim was kind enough to put his aeroplane to the back where my Renegade was, so that I'm not having to move his aeroplane to get either of these two Renegades out. So that's a good thing. So that's basically the catch-up. If anything happens between now and knock-off time this afternoon, I'll I'll extend the video a bit more, but otherwise you're pretty much caught up with where we are. Yeah, nothing much happening in here. I've still got to get the decals made up, including the rego, which is going to go right about there somewhere. It's meant to go sort of halfway between probably that bottom main plane and the front of the horizontal stabiliser. So basically right about here somewhere, right about there. I've got to have it made up, simple as that. And all the other labelling around the cockpit, you know, what the switches are. I think you've even got to put which way's on and which way's off, you know. Hello. There'll be a few no steps on the wing here. That's, I think you could stand on it, but if you did, you'd probably wind up going straight through, because that's just fabric. There's no metal under there. So, not a good idea to stand on it. Rosie's got no lift on hers as well, out here on the horizontal stabiliser. That's probably not a bad idea. And no push on any of these flight controls. I'm not going to put them, but, you know, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen people around aeroplanes that don't normally go around aeroplanes that will push on flight controls and things like that. Well, they're not designed to be pushed on, and they probably bend or break. But anyway, that's where we are. Look at that weather. You can see out past the doors. Oh, let's have a look at it. It's too good. Not a breath of wind. That Renegade needs to be flying about now, actually. The really stinking hot days that we've had seem to have passed. We can still get the odd one over the next few weeks, but by and large they've passed now. So air shows and things will start popping up on the calendar from now on. Nobody wants to attend an air show when it's, you know, 40, 45 or 46 degrees in the shade. But I don't know, it must be about 25 degrees now. Absolutely perfect. Not a breath of wind. I don't know if you can see my windsock or not. There it is there. But yeah, absolutely nothing. So anyway, let's get on with it. You know the rules. Get your feet off the ground if you can, and enjoy whatever it is you get up to this weekend. Okay, bye now.